Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about one of the most overlooked and underestimated forces in our lives, the power of silence. It is a force that speaks louder than words, more impactful than action, and stronger than any external pressure we may face. Yet, many of us fail to recognize its true potential. You see, silence is not just the absence of sound, it is the presence of power. It is a tool that, when used properly, can unlock doors that words alone cannot open. Silence is the fertile ground in which clarity, wisdom, and understanding are cultivated. It is in silence that we find the answers to our deepest questions and the direction we seek in life. In the hustle and bustle of our daily lives, we are constantly surrounded by noise, physical noise, mental noise, emotional noise. It is easy to get lost in this chaos, to become distracted by the voices of others and the demands of the world. But silence offers a refuge, a moment to reconnect with our true selves, to listen to that still small voice within. When we embrace silence, we allow ourselves to be present. We step away from the distractions of the world and focus on the most important thing in that moment, the wisdom that lies within us. True wisdom does not come from constantly speaking, but from taking the time to listen. The most profound insights often come in those quiet moments when we give ourselves the opportunity to reflect. Think of the most successful people you admire. They understand the value of silence. They know that silence is not weakness, it is strength. It is in the stillness that decisions are made, strategies are formed, and breakthroughs occur. Silence empowers us to see clearly, to discern what is truly important, and to make choices aligned with our purpose. Silence is also a form of self-discipline. It requires us to control our impulses, to resist the urge to speak, act, or react without thought. In those moments of silence, we gain control over our emotions, our thoughts, and our actions. We begin to understand the power of pausing before we respond, the power of choosing our words carefully, and the power of waiting for the right time to act. But silence is not just about stillness, it is also about intentionality. You must choose to be silent when the world is demanding your attention. You must consciously step away from the noise and distractions to center yourself. It is in this silence that you can reconnect with your purpose, with your vision, and with the path that you are meant to walk. As you move forward in life, I encourage you to practice the power of silence. Take time each day to sit in silence, to reflect, to listen, and to allow your inner wisdom to rise. When you master the art of silence, you will find that your words, your actions, and your decisions carry more weight. You will be more focused, more in control, and more aligned with the life you are meant to live. Remember, silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is the quiet power that will guide you to a life of purpose, clarity, and success. Embrace it, and you will discover a strength that words alone cannot provide. Silence is one of the most misunderstood forces in the world. It is often seen as a passive state, an absence of sound or noise, something to be avoided or filled with activity. But in reality, silence is one of the most powerful tools we can utilize. When understood and used properly, silence is not merely the lack of noise, it is a source of immense power, strength, and clarity. It is in silence that we discover the deepest truths about ourselves, the world around us, and the universe at large. In the modern world, where we are constantly bombarded with noise, physical noise, emotional noise, mental noise, it is easy to overlook the significance of silence. From the constant hum of technology to the incessant chatter of social media, we are rarely in a space of true quiet. And yet, in the midst of all this noise, silence remains an untapped well of potential waiting to be accessed. The true power of silence lies not in its emptiness, but in what it makes possible. Silence creates a space where we can step away from external distractions and reconnect with our inner selves. In that quiet space, we are no longer influenced by the voices of others, the expectations of society, or the pressure to perform. Instead, we are able to listen to the still, small voice within that often gets drowned out in the noise of daily life. It is in these moments of silence that we can hear the whispers of our true purpose, the direction we need to take, and the insights that will guide us forward. One of the most profound aspects of silence is that it allows us to gain clarity. We live in a world that encourages constant busyness, constant action. We are often told that to achieve success, we must always be moving, always be doing, always be doing. But in reality, it is in stillness that we gain the greatest clarity. When we stop, when we pause, when we allow ourselves to be silent, the noise of the world fades away and we can see things as they truly are. It is in silence that we can reflect on our experiences, evaluate our choices, and gain the insight necessary to move forward with greater purpose. Too often we make decisions in the heat of the moment, reacting to circumstances without taking the time to reflect. We let our emotions dictate our actions, allowing anger, fear, and anxiety to cloud our judgment. But when we embrace silence, we give ourselves the opportunity to step back, to breathe, and to evaluate the situation from a place of calm. It is in this space that we can gain a deeper understanding of what is truly important and what is truly important and what is merely noise. Silence is also a powerful tool for self-discipline. In a world filled with distractions, it takes great strength to remain still. We live in an age where we are constantly encouraged to be busy, to be productive, to be doing something at all times. The idea of being silent, of doing nothing, can seem uncomfortable or even unproductive. But in reality, silence is a form of self-mastery. It requires us to resist the urge to fill every moment with activity, to avoid the distractions that constantly pull at our attention. It is in silence that we learn to master our impulses, to control our thoughts, and to be fully present in the moment. By cultivating this discipline, we are able to make more intentional choices and align our actions with our deeper values and goals. Another powerful aspect of silence is that it allows us to connect with our intuition. Our intuition is a powerful guide, offering insights and wisdom that go beyond logic and reason. But in the noise of daily life, our intuition is often drowned out by the cacophony of thoughts, emotions, and external pressures. When we take the time to be silent, we create the space for our intuition to speak. In these moments, we may receive guidance that leads us to new opportunities, new paths, and new ways of thinking. It is important to understand that silence is not just the absence of external sound. It is also the absence of internal noise. Many of us live with a constant stream of thoughts running through our minds, worries about the future, regrets about the past, anxieties about the present. This mental noise can cloud our judgment and prevent us from hearing the deeper wisdom within. Silence, therefore, is not just about creating external stillness, but also about quieting the mind. It is in this mental stillness that we can access the deepest parts of ourselves and hear the quiet wisdom that resides there. Silence also enhances our ability to listen not just to others, but to ourselves. In a world where we are often quick to speak and slow to listen, silence teaches us the art of listening deeply. True listening goes beyond hearing words. It involves being fully present, paying attention to the emotions and intentions behind the words, and understanding the deeper meaning. When we practice silence, we become more attuned to the needs and desires of others, and we become better communicators. We also become more attuned to our own needs and desires, gaining greater clarity about what we want and what is truly important to us. In relationships, silence can be a powerful tool for connection. Often we feel the need to fill every conversation with words, to always be talking, to always be saying something. But true connection does not always require words. Sometimes the most meaningful moments in relationships are those of shared silence. It is in these moments that we can simply be present with one another without the need to explain, to justify, or to fix. Silence creates a space where deeper emotional connections can be made, where mutual understanding can flourish, and where true intimacy can grow. The power of silence is not limited to our personal lives. It is also a valuable tool in leadership. Great leaders understand the importance of silence. They know that silence is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. A leader who is constantly speaking, constantly making noise, is often doing so out of insecurity or a need for validation. But a true leader understands that silence is a form of influence. By speaking less, by pausing to listen, and by creating moments of stillness, a leader can create a space for others to think, to reflect, and to contribute. Silence, in this sense, becomes a way to empower others, to give them the space to grow and to share their ideas. In our fast-paced world, silence can seem counterintuitive. Even in practical, we are constantly told to be productive, to be busy, to always be moving forward. But in reality, silence is a powerful catalyst for productivity and growth. It is in silence that we gain clarity, refine our goals, and connect with our deepest desires. It is in silence that we discover our true strength and purpose. Silence allows us to reconnect with our inner selves, to clear away the distractions that cloud our vision, and to make intentional, thoughtful decisions. It is in silence that we find the space to grow, to heal, and to become the people we are meant to be. So I encourage you, as you move through life, to embrace the power of silence. Take time each day to be still, to reflect, and to listen. In those moments of quiet, you will discover strength and clarity that will guide you toward the life you are meant to live. In our fast-paced, constantly connected world, clarity and wisdom seem increasingly difficult to attain. With distractions constantly pulling at our attention and the noise of the world overwhelming our senses, finding moments of true clarity feels like a rare gift. Yet, one of the most effective tools we have to cultivate both clarity and wisdom is silence. Silence is often underestimated, misunderstood, or even feared. People tend to avoid it because it forces them to confront themselves, to reflect on their lives, and to deal with the noise within. But silence is a fertile ground in which clarity and wisdom grow, offering us the space to step away from the distractions and listen to the deeper truth within. In order to truly understand how silence cultivates clarity and wisdom, we must first acknowledge the noise that surrounds us in our daily lives. External noise comes from the constant barrage of information, the hum of technology, the demands of work, relationships, and societal expectations. But there is also internal noise, our constant stream of thoughts, worries, and anxieties. This mental chatter clouds our perception and makes it difficult to see things clearly. In such an environment, it's easy to become overwhelmed, confused, and disconnected from our deeper selves. We might feel stuck, unable to make decisions or discern our true path. It is precisely in these moments that silence becomes invaluable. Silence provides us with a sanctuary from the distractions of the world. When we choose to embrace silence, whether by stepping away from technology, taking a walk in nature, or simply sitting quietly in a room, we allow ourselves to disconnect from the constant noise and to reconnect with our inner world. In this stillness, the external distractions fade into the background and we become more attuned to our thoughts, feelings, and intuition. It is in silence that we can start to hear our own voice clearly, to listen deeply to the things that matter most, and to separate our true desires from the noise of the world. The practice of silence invites us to slow down. In our rush to meet deadlines, solve problems, and keep up with the pace of life, we rarely stop to reflect on what's truly important. We rush through decisions without taking the time to think them through, and we may even avoid confronting difficult emotions or thoughts because it feels too uncomfortable. But when we stop, when we create space for silence, we allow ourselves the time and mental bandwidth to evaluate what's really going on. This quiet reflection enables us to see things from a clearer perspective, free from the pressures and influences that usually cloud our judgment. In the absence of constant distractions, clarity arises naturally. We gain the ability to see things for what they truly are, rather than through the lens of our biases, fears, and assumptions. The mind, free from the noise, becomes like a calm pond, and the reflections on its surface are no longer distorted by the waves of stress, worry, or distraction. In silence, we can step back and look at situations with fresh eyes. This clarity allows us to make better decisions, to choose the right path, and to act with purpose. We no longer feel pulled in 100 different directions because silence has given us the space to identify what really matters. Moreover, silence is a key to unlocking wisdom. Wisdom is more than just knowledge. It is the ability to apply that knowledge in meaningful ways, to discern the deeper truths that guide us through life. Wisdom is often born from experience and reflection, and both of these require the space that silence provides. It is in moments of quiet that we can look back on our lives, learn from our past experiences, and recognize patterns that may have previously gone unnoticed. Silence allows us to reflect on our actions, our decisions, and our relationships, helping us gain a deeper understanding of how we got to where we are. In these moments of reflection, we can also begin to see beyond our immediate concerns. We move beyond surface level thinking and allow ourselves to tap into the deeper currents of life. This is where wisdom comes in. Wisdom doesn't just come from accumulating information or experience. It comes from the ability to step back, think critically, and connect the dots. In silence, we give ourselves the time to process and synthesize all that we've learned. It's in these moments that we begin to see the bigger picture, to understand the underlying forces at play, and to discern the true nature of the challenges we face. Silence also cultivates the kind of wisdom that is not just intellectual but emotional. In our busy, distracted world, it's easy to become disconnected from our emotions. We suppress them, avoid them, or become overwhelmed by them, especially when we're constantly on the go. Yet, our emotions carry a great deal of wisdom. They provide us with important information about how we feel, what we value, and what we need. Silence allows us to connect with these emotions and process them in a healthy way. By sitting with our feelings and allowing them to surface, we give ourselves the opportunity to understand them more deeply. This emotional clarity enables us to make more thoughtful decisions, communicate more effectively, and navigate life with greater empathy and understanding. Another powerful way silence cultivates wisdom is through the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to be fully present in the moment, to observe our thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment. Silence is the foundation of mindfulness, as it allows us to step outside of the noise and become more aware of our present experience. When we are mindful, we are more attuned to the world around us, more receptive to new ideas, and more open to learning. This awareness is essential for cultivating wisdom because it helps us see things clearly and without distortion. It allows us to respond to life with clarity and intentionality rather than reacting impulsively or out of habit. It's important to recognize that silence isn't just about physical stillness, it's also about mental and emotional stillness. It's possible to sit in a quiet room and still have your mind racing with thoughts, anxieties, and worries. True silence requires us to quiet our minds as well as our bodies. This mental stillness is where the magic happens. When we allow ourselves to let go of the constant stream of thoughts and judgments, we create space for clarity and wisdom to emerge. In this state of calm, we can hear our deeper thoughts, our intuition, and our inner wisdom with greater precision. The more we practice silence, the more natural it becomes to access clarity and wisdom. Just as a muscle grows stronger with exercise, our ability to be still and focused improves with consistent practice. The more time we spend in silence, the more we learn how to quiet the noise within and connect with our deeper selves. Over time, this practice of silence becomes a powerful tool for navigating the complexities of life. By embracing silence, we allow ourselves to step away from the noise of the world and reconnect with what truly matters. We create space to reflect, to listen, and to discern the deeper truths that guide us. Silence becomes not just a tool for clarity and wisdom, but a way of life, a way of being present, being thoughtful, and being in tune with the deeper currents of existence. In silence, we can see with greater clarity, understand with greater wisdom, and move through life with a sense of purpose and peace. In a world that is constantly moving, constantly making noise, and always demanding our attention, it is easy to become overwhelmed by our emotions and thoughts. We live in a culture where everything is fast-paced. From the endless stream of information we consume to the many roles and responsibilities we juggle every day. This chaos, both external and internal, can easily lead to stress, anxiety, and an inability to think clearly. In these moments, silence becomes not just a luxury, but a necessity, a powerful tool that can help us regain control of our emotions and thoughts. By embracing silence, we create a space for ourselves to pause, reflect, and regain our balance in the midst of life's storms. At the core of human experience, emotions and thoughts are deeply intertwined. Our emotions often arise from the thoughts we entertain, and those emotions, in turn, influence the way we think and react. This cycle of thought and emotion can easily spiral out of control, leading to frustration, confusion, and impulsive reactions. The more we allow ourselves to become swept up in this cycle, the harder it becomes to see clearly and make rational decisions. Silence, however, provides us with the opportunity to interrupt this cycle. When we enter silence, we step away from the noise of our thoughts and emotions and allow ourselves the time and space to observe them rather than be controlled by them. One of the most powerful effects of silence is its ability to help us regulate our emotions. Emotions, by their nature, are temporary. They come and go, often triggered by external events or internal thoughts. When we are caught up in the moment, however, it can feel as though our emotions are permanent, overwhelming, and all-consuming. In these moments, silence allows us to step back and regain perspective. It gives us the space to feel our emotions without being swept away by them. Instead of reacting immediately with anger, frustration, or sadness, silence gives us the chance to pause, breathe, and reflect. It allows us to ask ourselves, why do I feel this way, and what is the underlying cause of this emotion? By asking these questions, we can begin to understand the root of our emotions. Is it a situation that has triggered us, or is it an old wound or pattern that we are unconsciously reacting to? Silence helps us uncover these deeper layers of emotion, enabling us to address them with greater awareness. Rather than simply reacting to our feelings, we can respond to them from a place of clarity and understanding. In this way, silence empowers us to take control of our emotional responses, allowing us to choose how we want to react rather than being driven by impulse. Silence also gives us the opportunity to disconnect from the constant stream of thoughts that often fuel our emotional reactions. Our minds are constantly active, processing information, making judgments, and forming opinions. This mental chatter can be overwhelming, especially when we are faced with difficult emotions or challenging situations. It is in these moments that silence becomes a powerful tool for gaining control over our thoughts. When we stop and sit in silence, we create a space where our thoughts can settle. Instead of being carried away by the storm of our mental activity, we allow ourselves to observe our thoughts from a place of calm. This ability to step back from our thoughts is crucial for gaining clarity and control. In the quiet of silence, we can begin to notice the patterns in our thinking. We may realize that we have been ruminating on negative thoughts, replaying past events, or worrying about future outcomes. These thought patterns often fuel our emotional reactions and prevent us from thinking clearly. Silence, however, allows us to break free from these patterns. When we sit in stillness, we become aware of the thoughts that arise, but we do not have to engage with them. Instead of identifying with them, we can simply observe them as they come and go. This practice of mindfulness allows us to detach from our thoughts, reducing their power over us. In this space of silence, we regain control of our mental landscape and can choose to let go of thoughts that do not serve us. Moreover, silence helps us become more present in the moment. So often our thoughts and emotions are rooted in the past or the future. We worry about what might happen, regret things that have already occurred, or fixate on what we should have done differently. This constant mental time travel creates emotional turmoil as we are never truly present in the here and now. Silence, however, pulls us back to the present moment. In the stillness, we can observe what is happening right now without the interference of past memories or future anxieties. This practice of present moment awareness allows us to experience life as it is without being clouded by the noise of our thoughts and emotions. When we are present, we can think and feel more clearly, and our reactions become more measured and thoughtful. Silence is also a powerful tool for self-awareness. Many times our emotions and thoughts go unchecked because we are not fully aware of what is happening inside of us. We may be so caught up in the busyness of life that we don't take the time to reflect on how we are feeling or thinking. This lack of awareness can lead to emotional and mental overload, as we simply push through our experiences without processing them. Silence provides the opportunity to slow down and become more attuned to our inner world. When we create space for silence, we give ourselves the chance to check in with ourselves, to notice how we are feeling, and to understand why we are thinking the way we are. This awareness allows us to make more conscious choices about how we respond to our emotions and thoughts. Furthermore, silence helps us cultivate emotional resilience. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and disappointments, and it's easy to become discouraged when things don't go as planned. Our emotions may fluctuate in response to these challenges, swinging from hope to despair, from excitement to fear. Silence, however, allows us to build the inner strength necessary to navigate these fluctuations with grace. When we sit in silence, we practice patience, acceptance, and self-compassion. We learn to observe our emotions without judgment, allowing them to flow through us without becoming overwhelmed by them. This practice of emotional resilience enables us to maintain our equilibrium even in the face of adversity. We become less reactive and more grounded, able to meet challenges with calmness and clarity. In addition, silence helps us sharpen our focus and concentration. Our minds are often scattered, jumping from one thought to the next, making it difficult to concentrate on the task at hand. This lack of focus can lead to frustration, confusion, and mistakes. Silence, however, provides a mental reset. When we quiet the mind, we clear away the distractions that prevent us from concentrating fully. This enhanced focus allows us to think more clearly, make better decisions, and take more deliberate action. In silence, we can tap into our full mental capacity, using our thoughts in a purposeful and directed way. Finally, silence helps us develop greater empathy and understanding. When we are constantly surrounded by noise, whether external or internal, it becomes difficult to truly listen to others. We may be too focused on our own thoughts and emotions to hear what others are saying or to understand their perspective. Silence, however, opens up the space for deep listening. When we quiet our own minds and emotions, we can fully tune into the needs and feelings of others. This ability to listen with presence and empathy strengthens our relationships and helps us connect with others on a deeper level. Through silence, we learn to be more present for others, offering them the gift of our undivided attention. The power of silence to control our emotions and thoughts cannot be overstated. It offers us the opportunity to step back, observe, and respond to our inner world with clarity and awareness. Silence helps us regulate our emotions, gain control over our thoughts, and become more present in the moment. By embracing silence, we create the conditions for greater emotional and mental well-being, allowing us to navigate life with calmness, focus, and resilience. In the quietude of silence, we find the space to reflect, recalibrate, and regain control, enabling us to live more intentionally and with greater peace of mind. In a world that constantly demands our attention, where noise and distraction reign supreme, silence is often undervalued, misunderstood, and overlooked. Yet, it is in the stillness that we discover one of the most powerful forms of strength we can possess. Silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is the presence of control, wisdom, and resilience. In a society that measures strength through external accomplishments, noise, and domination, silence teaches us that true strength lies not in how loud we are, but in how deeply we are able to connect with our inner world and remain unshaken by the chaos around us. Silence is a form of strength, not because it is passive, but because it reflects an internal power that is unmovable, unyielding, and enduring. The ability to remain silent in a world full of distractions requires an immense amount of self-discipline. It is easy to speak, easy to react, and easy to allow ourselves to be swept away by the emotional currents of the world. Our culture often places a high value on speaking, on being heard, and on making our opinions known. Yet the truly powerful are those who recognize the importance of pausing, of withholding judgment, and of choosing silence when the temptation to speak or react is overwhelming. It is in these moments of silence that we exercise the strength of our will. Instead of being controlled by the noise of the world, we take a deliberate step back, allowing ourselves the space to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Silence is a choice. It is an intentional act of withholding energy from external stimuli that seek to draw us into the noise of the world. It is in this choice to remain silent that we demonstrate strength. Silence requires us to have a deep sense of self-awareness, to be comfortable with our own thoughts, and to trust that we do not need the validation of others to feel secure. In choosing silence, we refuse to participate in the drama and conflict that so often surround us. We refuse to engage in conversations that will drain our energy or take us away from our focus. We create boundaries not by force, but by the strength of our ability to remain silent when necessary. There is a great power in knowing when to speak and when to remain quiet. Those who speak only when necessary are often seen as wise, as their words are measured and deliberate. In contrast, those who constantly speak without thought often find that their words lose value over time. Silence in this way allows us to conserve our energy and to preserve our emotional and mental resources. In moments of silence, we gain perspective. We stop, reflect, and let the noise of the world fade into the background. From this quiet place, we can make decisions with greater clarity, allowing us to approach situations with calm and poise rather than haste. Silence also helps us build emotional resilience. Life is full of challenges and trials, and it is easy to become overwhelmed by the intensity of our emotions in the face of adversity. Anger, frustration, sadness, and fear can cloud our judgment, making it difficult to think clearly and respond appropriately. In these moments, silence becomes a tool of strength. By choosing silence, we allow ourselves the time to process our emotions and gain perspective. Instead of reacting impulsively, we give ourselves the space to breathe, to reflect, and to respond from a place of calm and wisdom. Silence teaches us that we do not need to express every emotion that arises within us, but rather we can allow these emotions to pass through us without being controlled by them. The strength of silence is also seen in its ability to foster self-control. The world around us is constantly pulling us in different directions, demanding our attention and enticing us to respond immediately to every situation. But true strength lies in our ability to exercise restraint. Silence requires self-control because it forces us to resist the urge to speak, to argue, or to defend ourselves when we might be provoked. It requires us to sit with discomfort and stillness, knowing that our silence does not mean weakness, but rather it reflects an inner power that is undisturbed by external forces. Through silence, we develop the strength to pause, to take a deep breath, and to think before we act. This practice of self-control, cultivated through silence, enables us to make decisions that align with our values rather than reacting based on momentary impulses. One of the most powerful aspects of silence is its ability to cultivate inner peace. The world around us can be chaotic, filled with noise, conflict, and distractions. In such an environment, it is easy to become unsettled, to lose our sense of balance, and to be swept up in the turbulence. Silence, however, offers us a sanctuary, a place of refuge where we can find stillness amidst the storm. It is in silence that we reconnect with our true selves, the part of us that is not affected by the noise of the world. When we embrace silence, we create space for peace to enter our lives. It is in this peace that we find strength, the strength to remain calm in the face of adversity, to stand firm in our convictions, and to respond to life with grace. Moreover, silence is a form of strength because it helps us cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. In the stillness, we can listen not just to the external world, but to our own inner voice. The constant noise of the world can drown out our intuition, our wisdom, and our inner guidance. But in silence, we can hear that voice clearly. We can listen to our hearts, understand our desires, and make decisions that are aligned with our purpose. Silence, in this sense, is not a passive withdrawal from the world, but rather an active engagement with our inner truth. It is a form of strength that allows us to tune into our deepest needs and desires, guiding us on our journey toward fulfillment and authenticity. Silence also serves as a mirror, reflecting back to us who we truly are. In the absence of external distractions, we are left to confront ourselves. This can be an uncomfortable experience as it forces us to face our fears, insecurities, and unresolved emotions. But it is through this process of self-reflection that we grow stronger. We learn to accept ourselves as we are without the need for validation from others. Silence allows us to see ourselves clearly without the distortion of external opinions or judgments. It is in this clarity that we find strength to embrace our imperfections, to heal from past wounds, and to move forward with confidence and purpose. The strength of silence is also evident in its ability to enhance our ability to listen. In a world where everyone is eager to share their opinions and be heard, silence allows us to step back and truly listen to others. In listening deeply, we show respect and understanding. We are able to hear not just the words being spoken, but the emotions and intentions behind them. Silence in this way strengthens our relationships. It enables us to connect with others on a deeper level, fostering empathy and compassion. By listening in silence, we create a space for others to be heard, and in doing so, we build stronger bonds of trust and understanding. In silence, we also find strength in our ability to endure. Life is often filled with hardship, loss, and pain. It is easy to become discouraged when we face difficult circumstances, but silence teaches us that strength does not always come from fighting against adversity. Sometimes strength is found in the ability to endure, to remain still and steady in the face of challenges. In silence, we can endure the emotional storms that arise within us, knowing that they are temporary and will eventually pass. Through this quiet endurance, we build the resilience to face whatever life throws our way, knowing that we can remain anchored in our inner strength. Silence, therefore, is not a weakness. It is a powerful tool that can help us navigate the noise of the world, connect with our inner wisdom, and build resilience in the face of adversity. It is through silence that we develop self-control, emotional strength, and clarity of thought. It is in silence that we find peace, reflect on our true selves, and cultivate meaningful connections with others. In a world that often equates strength with loudness, power, and external success, silence teaches us that true strength is quiet, deliberate, and unshaken. It is the strength that comes from within, from a place of inner peace, wisdom, and resilience. When we embrace silence, we unlock the power to navigate life with grace, strength, and purpose. In the relentless pursuit of success, we are often taught that the key lies in constant action, always moving, always speaking, always striving. Society places a premium on busyness, on filling every moment with activity, noise, and interaction. Yet there is a profound truth that often goes unrecognized. Success does not come from constant motion, but from knowing when to stop, when to listen, when to pause, and when to embrace the power of silence. Silence is not the absence of activity, it is the presence of clarity, control, and mastery. Mastering silence is one of the greatest keys to unlocking success, for it is in the quiet moments that we gain the insights, the resilience, and the inner strength necessary to navigate the world and achieve our highest goals. To understand the connection between silence and success, we must first acknowledge that in our noisy world, silence is a rare commodity. We live in an era of constant stimulation where information is thrown at us from every direction. The world bombards us with messages, opinions, advertisements, and demands. There is rarely a moment of true stillness, and in this chaos, it becomes difficult to hear our inner voice, to think deeply, or to make thoughtful decisions. Yet silence in its purest form has the power to cut through this noise. It allows us to focus, to think clearly, and to make decisions that align with our long-term goals rather than our short-term impulses. It is in silence that we sharpen our intuition, cultivate our creativity, and refine our strategies. When we embrace silence, we create space for deep thinking. It is in the quiet moments that we can process our thoughts, connect the dots, and gain new perspectives. Success is not simply about moving from one task to the next. It is about making the right choices at the right time. The most successful people in history have not been those who simply worked the hardest or spoke the loudest, but those who knew how to step back, reflect, and consider the best course of action. Silence allows us to take a step back from the noise of everyday life and assess where we are going, and what we need to do to get there. In silence, we are not distracted by the opinions of others, by the pressures of society, or by the demands of the moment. We are able to listen to our own thoughts, to clarify our values, and to connect with our deepest desires and goals. Moreover, mastering silence allows us to develop emotional control, which is essential for success. In a world that values instant reactions, emotional outbursts, and quick responses, silence teaches us the power of restraint. How many times have we said something in the heat of the moment that we later regretted? How many times have we allowed our emotions to dictate our actions, only to find that we have acted against our own best interests? Silence gives us the opportunity to pause before responding, to take a breath, to think, and to choose our words and actions with intention. In moments of conflict, frustration, or stress, silence enables us to maintain our composure, to center ourselves, and to respond in a way that is thoughtful and measured. This emotional intelligence is a key component of success, for it allows us to navigate challenges, disagreements, and obstacles without losing control or making rash decisions. Silence is also an invaluable tool for developing focus. In a world filled with distractions, it is easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer number of tasks, responsibilities, and demands placed upon us. We often find ourselves pulled in many different directions, unable to give our full attention to any one thing. Silence, however, creates the conditions for focus. When we embrace silence, we remove the external distractions that pull our attention away from our goals. It is in silence that we can tune out the noise of the world and focus solely on what is most important. In these moments of focused attention, we are able to make the most of our time and energy, concentrating fully on the task at hand rather than being divided by competing demands. The ability to focus is a critical skill in achieving success, for it allows us to make significant progress on our most important objectives. Additionally, silence allows us to develop the resilience necessary to overcome obstacles. Success is rarely a straight path. It is filled with challenges, setbacks, and failures. In these difficult moments, it is easy to become discouraged or overwhelmed. However, silence gives us the strength to endure. When we face adversity, silence provides a refuge, a space where we can gather our thoughts, regain our composure, and find the courage to keep going. It is in silence that we can reconnect with our inner strength, reminding ourselves of our purpose and our capacity to overcome difficulties. Instead of reacting impulsively to challenges or giving in to frustration, silence gives us the mental clarity to find solutions, to adapt, and to persevere. This resilience is essential for long-term success, for it enables us to navigate the inevitable obstacles and setbacks that will arise along the way. In addition to these practical benefits, mastering silence also allows us to cultivate a sense of inner peace and contentment. Success is often associated with external achievements, money, status, recognition, and accolades. However, true success is not found in external validation, but in internal peace. When we master silence, we are able to cultivate a sense of inner calm, regardless of the external circumstances. Silence allows us to connect with our inner self, to understand our true desires, and to live in alignment with our values. This inner peace is the foundation of lasting success, for it frees us from the constant need for external approval and validation. When we are at peace with ourselves, we are able to pursue our goals with greater clarity, confidence, and purpose, knowing that we are not chasing after empty rewards, but are instead moving toward a life that is truly fulfilling. Mastering silence also enhances our ability to listen. Listening is one of the most important skills for success, yet it is often neglected. In our busy world, we are so focused on speaking and sharing our own thoughts that we forget the importance of truly listening to others. Listening is not just about hearing words, it is about understanding, empathizing, and connecting with others on a deeper level. When we embrace silence, we create the space to listen not just to the words of others, but to the underlying emotions, needs, and intentions that drive their words. Listening attentively allows us to build stronger relationships, gain valuable insights, and collaborate more effectively with others. It is through listening that we learn, grow, and expand our understanding of the world. Success is not just about individual achievement, it is about building meaningful connections and working together with others toward shared goals. Silence enhances our ability to listen, and in doing so, enables us to work more effectively with those around us. Furthermore, silence is essential for creativity and innovation. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, it can be difficult to find the mental space required to generate new ideas or to think outside the box. Silence provides the stillness necessary for creativity to flourish. It is in silence that we are able to clear our minds, free ourselves from distractions, and allow our creative thoughts to emerge. Innovation often comes from the quiet moments when we step away from the noise and let our minds wander. In these moments of silence, we can reflect on the challenges we face, the possibilities before us, and the solutions that may not be immediately obvious. Silence fosters an environment where creativity can thrive, and it is through creativity that we find new ways to solve problems, achieve our goals, and reach new levels of success. In conclusion, mastering silence is one of the most powerful tools we can use on our journey to success. It is not a passive state, but an active practice that allows us to cultivate clarity, focus, emotional control, resilience, and creativity. Silence enables us to think deeply, make thoughtful decisions, and remain composed in the face of adversity. It provides the space for us to listen, to reflect, and to connect with our inner selves, allowing us to pursue success on our own terms. In a world that values speed, noise, and constant action, silence offers a refuge, a place where we can find the strength, wisdom, and peace necessary to achieve our highest potential. By mastering silence, we unlock the door to greater success, not just in our external achievements, but in the fulfillment and satisfaction we find within ourselves.